All right, welcome everyone to this incredible masterclass hosted by Lucro with special guest Dr. Aaron Gumm from Blueprint to Practice Automation. What we're going to be talking about is how you can tap into a $1 trillion industry and take your clinic, your practice, and your life to the next level. And that's exactly what Blueprint was able to do from my own clinic. Joining Blueprint just a few short years ago, from the first year joining, went from $2 million a year to $5.5 million a year and only 1,800 square feet, just 4 years out of chiropractic school. And so now this year, our clinic will do almost $7 million in one single location in Iowa. And so Dr. Gumm's going to talk about a lot of the fundamental principles and things that we implemented into our practice to take the next steps to the next level. If you're new to Lucro, we provide bookkeeping services to help you understand the data of your practice and scale to the next level. I was just telling Dr. Aaron Gumm, Jesus, chiropractors, and pastors were the most commonly called miracle workers in the entire world. Why do we not have a bigger reach than we do have on the world? Fundamentally, I think it comes down to the understanding how to run a proper business. And at the core function of that is understanding the financial data of our business to make the best strategic decisions every single month of what is the number one thing that you should always be focused on that has the greatest impact on increasing your revenue, your reach, and your impact. So let's jump right into it. Dr. Gumm, super excited to have you on this call. If you don't know who Dr. Gumm is, he's the founder of Blueprint to Practice Automation. It's a multi-8-figure organization. I didn't say 7-figure, 8-figure organization. They have over 40 employees. They've been on the Inc. 500 and Inc. 5000 list for the past 5 years. I believe they're the largest chiropractic practice management or consulting organization in the entire profession, teaching over 2,000 doctors across the country about how to increase their revenue, increase their lifetime value for the patients, get better outcomes, have a greater impact, and ultimately change lots and lots of lives. So Dr. Gumm, super excited to take it away from here. And thanks for being on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be able to share this message. This is one of my favorite messages. It talks about all the topics that I'm very passionate about. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here and kind of jump into this. Let's see here. Let's go that way. All right. Josiah, my screen all right?
Perfect.
All right, so tapping into a $1 trillion industry. So this topic is very, very impactful. We've been teaching doctors across the country this principle. But before we get into that specific topic, I like going through kind of a structure with this message. I want to go through the R3 review. I call it the R3 review. I want to remind you of what we do and why we do it as chiropractors. I want to talk about where our chiropractic industry is at today and where it's going. And how it's going to have to evolve to stay relevant. So we spent 6 figures from a third-party company that did a research study on the chiropractic profession compared to other professions. And there's some eye-opening data that I'm going to be using. I'm going to use some data from that research. And also at the very end, I have a 25-page report around that data, around the profession. So stay tuned to the end so you can actually access to that data. And then I'm going to go through some revenue principles, how to build a business. It's not complicated. A lot of people want to complicate this. Some strategies that we teach our members at Blueprint to Practice Automation. And then I'll go through some reporting. I have a 25-page report on a case study that we did just this one practice we did a case study on that used these principles on how to grow their practice. So let's go over some reminders. So are your patients being taken care of? This is a question I ask our profession. I challenge every one of you as a chiropractor to ask you this question, ask yourself this question. Are we taking care of our patients? American spends more than any nation in healthcare, but we should be the healthiest, right? I'm speaking to the choir, I get this, but I want you to really let this set in before I get into the main message. Unfortunately, we're not even close. Americans rank 69th in the world for health. Prospective patients have more chronic disease, diabetes, obesity, cancer, pain, on opioids. So what can chiropractors do about this? Studies show that we can make a huge impact. And we may think that we're making an impact, but we're really not when we look at the breadth of how many people are in our communities, and the percentages of what we're impacting in our communities. Chiropractors using alternative medicine have miraculous results for patients. One study analyzed 70,274 patients over 7 years, comparing primary care versus chiropractic. They found that the people that use chiropractic have in-house hospital admissions by 62% decreased, hospital days by 59%, outpatient surgeries decreased by 62%. And here's the real kicker. Regular chiropractic visits reduces pharmaceutical expenses by 85%. Now, that's not shocking to us chiropractors, but it will be shocking to your people in your community. But are we getting this message out to our communities? That's the real question. I really don't think we are. Let's see how well we're doing that. So, and yet chiropractors still struggle to free Americans from the tight grip of pharma. Old habits die hard, guys. We're still more likely to prescribe a pill. More than half of our prospective patients take prescription medications, on an average 4 pills. The trend is creeping up over the decades. Over the last 2 decades, pharmaceuticals have increased by 85%. Now let that sink in. As hard as we work as chiropractors to make an impact in our community, we still have an 85% increase in pharmaceuticals being used to treat conditions. Your patients need a holistic approach to health. They're literally dying for it. No pun intended. They're literally dying for it. So when I think about chiropractors that aren't training, they're not hiring the right people, they're not reinvesting into their profession, they're not reinvesting into themselves, you're literally part of the statistic. If you're not willing to take risks, build your practice, go the extra mile, go do screenings, go do health talks, invest into your business, follow business trends, you're feeding the statistic. And some of you maybe take that a little bit the wrong way, but we are the statistic. This is the reason why we're at when our patients are relying on medications. So when we look at the chiropractic model, the chiropractic business model is broken. If we look at since 1895 to today, chiropractic is a $20 billion industry. Now we may think that's a lot, but when you look at it, 124 years, we only got to a $20 billion industry. If we look at telemedicine, since 1960, it's a $143 billion industry. If we look at the SaaS model since 1960, it's a $160 billion industry. If we look at digital health since 2010, so just 14 years, it's a $255 billion industry. So what do those 3 top business models have in common? Well, it's easy. They're driven by technology, systemization, and automation. Now, I know those are all taboo words in the chiropractic profession, but taboo has got us where? To a $20 billion industry. Taboo has got us where? To letting our patients rely on medications and increase 85% of medication reliance over the last 2 decades. So we have to really start thinking differently as a profession. We have to be innovative. We have to evolve chiropractic. Now, I'm not saying we have to change the chiropractic philosophy. We don't have to change the chiropractic adjustment, because the chiropractic adjustment is the best philosophy on the planet. But why are we not reaching the people in our communities like other professions? So when we look at this, the chiropractic took 125 years to reach $20 billion. Digital health took 10 years to reach $255 billion, expected to reach $655 billion by 2030. Telemedicine by 2030 is going to be a $500 billion industry. Add 3 zeros to the chiropractic US market to get to the SaaS market, because it only took SaaS 60 years to get a $160 billion industry. Chiropractic is not growing because we're not reaching the people. The message is not resonating with the people. We don't have the systems and processes to reach the people, to process the people. So we got to look at how we're doing that. So look back at it. We know Americans are sicker than ever. We know that they need help. We know the chiropractic industry has the results to produce substantial improvements with our patients. We know that. We've been doing this for years. But are we reaching the people? If we keep going the way we're going, it's going to take us another 125 years to make the impact on Americans that they need now. They need it today. So the single biggest thing crippling chiropractic is the type of care we're given. that we give our patients. Now, I'm not saying that the chiropractic adjustment isn't valuable, because it is probably the most valuable thing that we can produce in the care for our patients. It's the way we process patients. It's the way we try to get new patients, the message we're trying to resonate with the people in our communities. So when we look at this, DCs, I get it. We went to school to treat patients. The entire time we took classes on how to treat patients. I get it. 68% of chiropractors wish they had a business class in school. I know you all remember the business class that you were studying for other tests in, you didn't pay attention at. Maybe that's the class you skipped. I know I did all of those. We didn't learn how to run a business in school, and I just self-taught myself.
The other 32% just forgot to answer that question.
Right, exactly. They weren't in class when they took that survey. Less than 1/4 of chiropractors will figure out how to expand their clinic beyond their own hands. Because going back to what's crippling chiropractic, we have our business model around these two things. I get this is where the magic's at, but we have to learn how to scale that. We have to learn how to resonate that message with the people in our communities. So chiropractors are chronically underpaid. We all know this. So if you look at this, chiropractors have the lowest entry-level salary specialty physicians. The average chiropractor just makes $36 an hour. So when we compare that, if you look at a subway street car operator, makes $37 an hour. A power plant operator, distributor, and dispatcher makes $49 an hour. An elevator mechanic makes $49 an hour. Nurse, a physician, a physical therapist, 46, radiology technician, 46, nurse practitioner, 58, dentist, 76, general practitioner, 110. But we got to look at the debt to income. So we went to school for, minimum 3 to 4 years before we went to chiropractic schools. We're accumulating this debt of $160,000 or $136,000 in student debt. And it's much higher now, $180,000, $200,000 now. So how are we supposed to pay back student loans?
This is crazy. I mean, I want to just pause on here. Go back to that previous slide. Go back to that previous slide, because it's like, and all these positions are employees. Now you may be saying, well, hey, I make more than that because I'm the owner. But it's like, we want to elevate the entire profession. We don't want only the people that are owning the businesses, to have successful careers as chiropractors. We want the entire profession to be elevated. And what you've said so far, Dr. Gumm, is that we're the problem, right? We can all agree we have the greatest healthcare product in the world, right? So if you have the greatest product in the world, shouldn't you be the highest paid person in the world? I mean, any other industry, whoever has the best product, whoever has the best car, whoever has the best X, Y, or Z is the one that's getting paid the most.
Well, we should be able to pay our associates $150,000 a year.
Well, why do we have the best
and I'm
product?
sorry if your associates on here listening, but if you have a business to a certain degree and you're able to do that, obviously you have to make the revenue to be able to do that. But that's where I'm getting at today. I'm going to show you a model and some concepts to grow your practice, just like Dr. Fitzsimmons has. He was a rock star chiropractor making a ton of money, a couple $1 million a year, seeing, 1,500 patients a week. He doubled his revenue without doubling his patient visits with the principles I'm about to go over. And that gave him the freedom to get the right people in the right seats, to grow his practice, to add more services, to be more flexible, but more nimble in their business. Because right now, if you're growing it around there, you just have a glorified job. You're stuck in the business. It's not scalable because it's off of numbers. Numbers are important, but if we can make those numbers worth more, which I'm going to go over here in a little bit and how we're going to do that, you're going to be able to scale it. So, especially looking at 7 out of 10 chiropractic offices close within 10 years. That's a crazy stat. When I saw that, how are we supposed to make an impact in our communities, in humanity with chiropractic if 7 out of 10 chiropractic offices are closing within 10 years? We're not able to hire new chiropractors. We're not able to get more people in the profession. And that's why they keep going back to the model that is relying on medications. That's why we have an epidemic in our society today: opioids, painkillers, prescriptions. Thank God that RFK is going to get into our policies to be able to change this. And look out, guys, because if that really happens, chiropractic is going to explode. People are going to start looking at healthcare a little differently. So let's get into some of the strategy. So why niches? Why do we add niches into our practice? If we've been beating the pavement with subluxation based messaging to our communities, and it works, I get it, I love it. I'm diehard chiropractic. My family goes to chiropractic. I go once a week. I love chiropractic, but we have to meet the people that aren't resonating with the message where they're at. So because Betty that hears the chiropractic message may have knee pain, may have neuropathy, may have disc issues, may want to lose weight, may have gut issues. Because when we look at niches, everyone in your office that comes in with neck pain, back pain, migraines, headaches, whatever it may be, 1 out of 5 actually suffer from chronic pain niches. 8 out of 10 are already taking dietary supplements trying to become healthy. 7 in 10 are on a diet, and 7 in 10 are overweight and obese. Look at those last two statistics. If 7 in 10 are on a diet, but 7 in 10 are still overweight and obese, that means it's not working. So the things they're trying on their own, internet, Google, whatever it may be, it's not working. They have conditions that they need help with, and we're just feeding them the chiropractic adjustment. Chiropractic adjustment isn't as powerful as it used to be. If someone's 30 pounds overweight, every pound you're overweight is 4 pounds in the weight bearing joint. That's 120 extra pounds in their spine. We can adjust them till the cows come home. But if we don't get the weight off, that subluxation is always going to come back. Environmental changes, food, stress, demands of life. These are things that we need to think about of like, okay, what has changed over the last 3 decades? Well, it's the environment and demand of life. So we have to start looking at other niches that we can incorporate. And I call it the $1 trillion niche framework. If you look at all the niches out there and you added them all up, it's over $1 trillion of opportunity within our business. So if you just took neuropathy, knee pain, gut health, decompression, you've literally 10 extra opportunity just by adding those niches to your practice. So I don't know anyone on here, how would you like a 10 times 10x opportunity to be able to build your practice off of? And these niches are worth 5 to 6 times more than a chiropractic case fee. Now, I'm not saying that we have to get rid of chiropractic. Chiropractic will always be the baseline of our practice, and I'll go over that here in a little bit. So when we look at this, chiropractic only reaches 13% of the population, just 13%. I'm actually being gracious with that number. Some of the numbers out there, when they did the research, it was down to 6 to 8%. The top one was 13%. So I told the research company to use, hey, let's use best case scenario. And then the other 87%, what's happened to these Americans? Well, those are the ones that are going to the medical model. They're taking medications, they're taking opioids, they're trying exploratory surgeries, they're doing high dose medications. They're not getting healthy. So who says we can't fish in the 13% pool and the 87% pool all at the same time? There's no reason why we can't do that. And the only reason why we wouldn't is we're pigeonholing ourselves of thinking that chiropractic message is the only thing that we need to lead with. I'm going to tell you right now, you're wrong. We have to be able to build our business off of bigger opportunities, patients that are worth more, sell them what they want, and then teach them what they need in the back end. Give them a solution for neuropathy, give them a solution for knee pain, give them a solution for their shoulder pain, give them a solution for their disc issue, and then get them under chiropractic care, because the other 87%, that's what these people are waiting for. So when we look at that, the medical model did one thing.
I think you had a spot on for so many people. It's like, make sure, and I know you're going to talk about it a little bit, but chiropractic is the foundation, but there's so many different toxins, there's so many different inflammatory things, there's so many processed foods, there's all these dyes, there's all these other things that are impacting all of the people we're trying to take care of. And so it's getting more and more difficult if you don't also address the weight gain, if you don't also address the inflammation, if you don't also address the lack of blood supply, all these different parts of the chiropractic lifestyle, because we know as chiropractors, not only do we get adjusted, we do all the other biohacking, secondary health activities, supplements, enemas, you name it. Chiropractors will do anything, to improve their health. And so we need to have the mindset shift of how can we be the portal of entry to holistic healthcare, chiropractic as the foundation, but we all know there's all these other additional parts of a holistic chiropractic lifestyle. And so that's really was a big mindset shift for me, coming right out of school. I was the president of the ICA in school, chiropractic only, that's the only thing you ever need. And I really learned and realized it's like, hey, my patients got incredible results with chiropractic, but they could get beyond incredible, next level results. And, just from the education of what patients already know, trust, and believe, right? They don't have the full understanding of what chiropractic is. And so I do also want to give you a ton of credit, Dr. Gumm, for all this research. I know you spent over $100,000 on all the stats, statistics, and research that you paid a consulting and research firm to get all this information to advance our profession. And some stuff, like you said, we already knew, but a lot of this information is really the finite details that's really going to help us understand where we're at, where do we want to go, and how are we going to get there.
Well, and I always say that at BPA, when I say BPA, I mean Blueprint to Practice Automation. At BPA, we don't make things by chance. We make things off data. So we look at what the data says. Chiropractic is not growing at the rate it needs to be. Why aren't we reaching those people? How can we tap into the trillion-dollar industry? Tons of millions of people that are looking for help. What are the business models such as SaaS, digital health, and telemedicine to scale these processes, which I'll get into here in a minute. And we combine all together to make a huge impact in the profession, because ultimately in the end, more people get under chiropractic care. That is the main thing that we need to understand. That's what we went to school for, right? It doesn't matter how we get them under care. If we get them under care and we make more money along the way as a business, everyone wins. So when we look at the medical model, they did one thing right. I give them credit about one thing. They niched out. They have immunologists, cardiologists, oncologists, internists, endocrinologists, nephrologists, podiatrists, orthopedists, pulmonologists, and on. So when they niched out, that's why they see, 85 to 90% of the population, because people gravitate towards their unique condition. So if we can get people gravitating towards us with their unique condition and help them with their unique condition, and then get them under chiropractic care and teach them chiropractic, we can actually reverse that. Because when we look at that, the sliver of that alternative medicine is chiropractic. We're not hitting a lot of the people in our community. So we can reverse that whole model where the blue is chiropractic. We have decompression, neuropathy, knee pain, shoulder pain, plantar fasciitis, body contouring, fibromyalgia, gut health, autoimmune, leaky gut, thyroid, all the niches that we can put into our practice, that now we dominate the healthcare profession, and we're getting people into the chiropractic avenue by switching up the front end message, helping people with unique niches that are worth 4 to 5 times more than the chiropractic care plan. And they can still add chiropractic to the care plan, and they're getting under care that they need. So like I said, sell them what they want. People want the solutions for these conditions, regardless of what we say. If we don't do something about it, they're going to go to the medical model. They're going to take the prescription. They're going to be the statistics of the 85% increase in pharmaceuticals over the last 2 decades. If we are not willing to open our mind and add these things to our practice, we're part of the statistic. By being stubborn and saying, this is the only message I'm going to preach, where's it getting us? $20 billion over 125 years. It's not getting us to where we're at. We can keep the message and keep relaying that to our patients, but we got to start being a little bit creative and getting different types of patients into our practice.
I'm hearing you saying too, Dr. Gumm, is how can we be, the primary care provider for the country and have a holistic mindset of, hey, we're the portal of entry. Hey, you need to send, you want to get your child under care? Send them to a pediatric specialist. Maybe it's you, maybe it's someone, maybe it's another chiropractor, right? Hey, you have a disc issues. Again, maybe you have decompression, maybe it's another chiropractor that's specialized. Why can't we, niche out, our profession, have the foundation of chiropractic, right? They have the foundation of medicine, and then they're branching into all these different niches within the medical model. Why can't we do the same thing from a holistic model standpoint? We know holistic alternative medicine, however you want to call it, it's not alternative, it's the best, right? What we provide as chiropractic should be the foundation. Nervous system, getting your brain and body to communicate the way God designed it to from the inside is the core basic function for how God designed our bodies to work. That needs to be first and foremost primarily. But if you have neuropathy, if you need to lose weight, if you have these other secondary conditions, then you need to drill down into specialists into those other areas. And whether it's your office or ideally another chiropractor, in your community. That's the entire model that I really feel that if we can continue to shift down and have that appropriate mindset for ourselves and for the profession, that's really how we can really advance, not only our profession, but the healthcare, of America.
I agree. If we can get our profession to shift slightly with the approach of gaining momentum with patients coming in our office and what we're helping them with, we'll always be the baseline of chiropractic, but opening our mind to other niches. I really feel like the chiropractic can be the portal of entry for all patients across America. And then the healthcare system was originally created for emergency care, and I'm all for that. So that's what it can be there for. If we can't help someone's about to get an amputation, someone's about to have a heart attack, broke their arm, we can send them to the medical model. But let's be the portal of entry for the 87% and the 13% for people to be able to come into to get help. So when we look at this model as one picture, so we know chiropractic isn't reaching the people that we want, 13% of the population. We know that niches have $1 trillion opportunity within niches. We know that the SaaS model in digital health is a $558 billion industry put together, and telemedicine is a $160 billion industry. These three things, if we layer niches on top of chiropractic, layer technology on top of the niches to be able to process them, the BPA way means better care, higher PVA, because now, and I'll go over here in a minute, all the niches that we've created, 90 to 100% of the care is online and at home through modalities and education and nutrition. So it doesn't create any bottlenecks in your practice. We can continue operating chiropractic like we do. They can come in for the same frequency that we do. We're layering on niche services on top of chiropractic. We're processing those patients and the patient care with technology. And then at that point, you're able to pull yourself out of the day-to-day of your chiropractic business model and be taught how to be a true CEO. And we have all the CEO training as well. You can get CEO training anywhere else, but we have 72 different business tools called our CEO business tools. And literally we teach our customers literally a chiropractic MBA. We had professionals from the outside of chiropractic help us create these tools. And if you follow this progression, you're able to go from overworked 5% freedom to working 16 hours to 0 hours. I know Dr. Fitzsimmons is not even in his office practicing anymore, 100% out of his office, letting his practice run without him with these systems. So a couple examples of the automations, the technologies. We've automated the seminar for all the niches. We've automated the day one education for all the niches. We've automated the day two education for all the niches. So it doesn't require the doctor's knowledge to go in there and speak on a seminar and be there late at night at the office, getting home at late. Doesn't require the doctor going into day one and talking about the condition and having all his clinical knowledge. We've put this in an automated format to able to extract the doctor out of that process, where you can have a case manager or a CA run this process, or it doesn't require you, and you can become more of a CEO and invest back into the business instead of working inside the business. We've had hybrid clinical protocols. So all the protocols for all these niches are 90 to 100% online using FDA cleared infrared devices, stimulation devices. And again, guys, you can go out and do these concepts by yourself. I'm not here trying to pitch BPA. I'm just giving you concepts to think about. You can go create it yourself. If you want more information about BPA, you can. But we can drop ship infrared devices and stimulation devices for the pain niches. All the metabolic niches are 100% online through our patient education portal, which I'll go over here in a minute. So when we push all the care at home and online, little in the office, we have better clinical outcomes because the patient can treat themselves 7 days a week, sometimes twice a day if they need to, treat more people and less in-clinic treatments, treat multiple conditions at once. You can add this onto any niche onto chiropractic. You can add neuropathy and knee pain without increasing a bunch of visits in your practice. You can add weight loss or gut health to chiropractic, where it's 100% online, so it doesn't take any of your time in the office. So it reduces visits and bottlenecks in your office, but you're 5 to 6xing your revenue in your practice at the same time. So the automated patient education, we have a software that we created. You enroll your patients into the curriculum for that niche. Let's say it's a neuropathy patient. They get a neuropathy tip of the day, a recipe of the day, a product tip of the day, a wellness tip of the day. daily tasks to check off each day and what they're supposed to be doing in that care. So again, you have a tracking system that you can pull reports on your patients to see how they're doing with that part of their care, how much they've completed, how many tasks they checked off. You can communicate through the two-way messaging center, which is a HIPAA compliant messaging center. If they have a question, they can submit it about that part of care, and your staff can answer it. As long as you understand the patient handbook that comes with the nutrition, you're able to answer the questions. Pretty simple. And then you have an app. They can use the app. You can use the app. It's pretty easy to use. You can use it on a desktop. So accessible healthcare is so essential these days because post-pandemic, especially, 80% of healthcare consumers are selecting their doctor off convenience factors alone. So if they have neuropathy or they have knee pain, they have plantar fasciitis, or they have weight issues or gut health issues or digestive issues, they don't want to come to your office 3 days a week for that. You can add this on to Topic Chiropractic and push it to the online and at home and manage it through the software. And patients want that. Some people are stuck in the mode of like patients, there's no value in that. Well, people are speaking what they want. 80% of people choose it. That's according to Forbes magazine, off convenience factors alone.
Well, I mean, every decision we make is where we go to eat, where we shop, where we get gas, I mean, where we live. I mean, that's usually the main decision for almost everything. So how can we create, accessible to our own care, more convenient, easier, simpler, less work, all those things that you talked about. I mean, that's just anything that can save you 30 seconds. People will pay,
Oh yeah.
extra money to save, a few seconds.
Well, I know, like even with our company, we obviously offer benefits to our employees and chiropractic care and stuff like that. But we have some employees that need medical care, but they can just jump on an app and go with on with their doctor through United Healthcare and have a visit. They don't have to leave their house. They get everything done in 2 minutes versus driving 15 minutes to the office, waiting in the waiting area 20 minutes, then coming back and wasting an hour and a half in their day. It's convenience. They love it. So for the doctor, any of the protocols that we have a distribution plan. You can create your own distribution process in your practice where we drop ship infrared devices, stimulation devices, and the nutrition back to their house. So you don't for our customers, they don't have to hold stock on their shelves, which keeps their cash flow liquid. They can spend that on marketing and spend on vacation or whatever it may be, more employees. So we try to take the convenience approach for our customers as well from the dropship model. So these are examples of our kits. So really kind of finishing up this part of the topic before we go on to the revenue producing topic is we're really just evolving chiropractic. And I'm not here to say that like I'm the next DD Palmer or evolving chiropractic. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to help chiropractors literally create freedom in their lives. I see so many chiropractors that are stuck to their practice. If they leave practice for a week, they don't make revenue. They can't leave practice. They haven't been on vacations in years, and their vacation is maybe a long weekend. You should be able to go on 5 to 6 weeks of vacation a year. So we're layering on niches, telemedicine, SaaS, and digital health on top of chiropractic, and we're making huge impacts. That's why we see practices doubling, tripling, quadrupling, 5xing their practice by just implementing even a fraction of these strategies in their practice and be able to elevate their game. And then they can enjoy chiropractic when they're not relying on it. And what happens usually is eventually chiropractic is probably 20% of the revenue and 80% of it is through niches. But again, people still get under chiropractic care when they leave with a niche. So the next topic I want to go over is some of the revenue strategies on how to use this business model. So once you have a model, how can we start implementing these things? How can we start growing our practice? And a lot of people want to complicate how to grow your practice. Everything, you may have like 100 things written down on how to grow your practice. They all fit into kind of 3 buckets. You can either get more new patients. Okay. So obviously, you can get 40 new chiropractic patients and then you can get 80 chiropractic new patients, or you can get new patients that are worth more. So a neuropathy patient's worth 5 times a chiropractic patient, a knee pain patient, a decompression patient, a gut health patient's worth 3 times a chiropractic patient. You can get patients come in your office that are worth more, or we can add services on to the actual chiropractic patient to make a larger lifetime value, LTV, for that patient. So if a chiropractic patient comes in, you can add gut health to their protocol. You can add knee pain to their protocol. You can add weight loss to their protocol. You're increasing the lifetime value of that customer by making that premium niche worth more, right? So third way is get them to buy multiple times. So those are the three ways that I kind of bucket how to grow a business. Um, are they buying multiple times past their initial care? Are you letting them come in 5 to 6 visits and they leave forever? Or are we trying to keep them under care? Are they leaving your care plan and not getting under some type of maintenance? Or are they just stopping care and you never seen them again? The easiest patient to get is the patient you already have. So we got to make sure that we're retaining our customers and our patients as they come in. So here's the kind of typical new patient pathway. We have on the left, we have our marketing. So paid marketing, outbound, reactivations, referrals, community partners. A lot of times I see chiropractors are only doing maybe one, maybe two. Um, I I hate when I hear like, well, I don't need to market because I build my practice off referrals. Okay. Well, what if you put $2,000 into paid marketing, double your new patients? Why wouldn't we do that? Don't get stuck in the mindset of like, I have so many referrals that I don't need any more new patients. You always need new patients. You can actually
Yeah,
take
and to
20.
speak on that too, I think that's
Yeah.
where I've been the most frustrated. People often tell me that, are the ones that are, I'm the most principled, person, XYZ, I'm the most passionate. It's like, if you're really the most passionate about our profession, the impact that we have, you know how we can change people's lives, why would you not want to do more? Why would you not want to serve more people? Why would you not want to have a greater impact on your community, on the people? BJ Palmer, the big idea, one small adjustment, impacts that person, impacts that city, that state, that country, impacts the entire world. That's how we need to have this impact. And we need to understand, the numbers, the data behind these decisions, right? And like you said, at the end of the day, it's like making a patient worth more. It's because we're providing more value. It's not that,
Yep.
we're trying to do anything to just make more money. That's not the goal. The goal is to provide more value, to create bigger impact, to change more people's lives. And as a result, the bigger impact that you have, the more lives that you change, the faster that you can do it, the easier that you can make it for them, then that is worth more. I mean, that's just the economics of any decision that you make. The simpler, the easier, the faster, the better, results that you can deliver any person, that has more value. And so how can
Yeah. I
we
mean,
do
if you
that?
have someone under chiropractic care and then you help them lose 40 pounds and get off blood pressure medicine, avoid heart attack, avoid diabetes, more value, right? Like it's not an $1,800 case fee. It's a $4,000 case fee. You've literally reversed disease in their body by taking that 40 pounds off. That's why we charge more for it. And going back to the statistics, 1 out of 5 people in your office that come for chiropractic care have a niche condition they need help with. 7 out of 10 are obese or overweight. That's those 7 out of 10 have chronic illness and disease, either on the verge or already have it. So, like Dr. Fitzsimmons says, it's the value of what we're charging for. And sometimes looking at the marketing again, don't rely on one source because you can have key market risk of like, if I'm only getting new patients from Facebook, well, what if the Facebook algorithm changes? What if Facebook shuts down? What if they change the way you run ads and it just doesn't work anymore? It's going to take you 5 to 6 months to figure it out. Can you withstand 5 to 6 months of no new patients and stay alive? So some things to think about. Are we doing outbound? Are we reaching out to people that scheduled and didn't show up? Or you met in the community and didn't schedule? Are we doing reactivation campaigns with our chiropractic patients? Are we doing reactivation campaigns with our leads that we're marketing with? Do we have referral programs set up in the practice? Do we go out and do health talks at establishments and leverage their lists with community partners? You should be doing all these things. And if you're not, you could literally have one person doing 3 of those things, paying $4,000 or $5,000 a month. And how many care plans does that take to pay for? One. So something to think about for marketing. So then we have our offers, look, maybe doing a free promotion or a discounted promotion and then a trial promotion. And then we have the maximize part of the patient pathway. This is where we have to make sure that we're upselling, lateral selling into lateral services or downselling into services to make our patients worth more and helping them with more conditions. It's the most common thing that businesses do to build revenue and help customers. A lot of chiropractors get caught up in like, oh, that's a sales tactic. That's a bait and switch. It's not. We're helping them with more conditions. We're literally reversing disease. We're helping them avoid the statistics of 85% increase in medications over the last 2 decades. That's why we're upselling them to services they need. That's why we're lateral selling. That's why we're down selling into services they need. Because everyone wins when we do this. You make more money, they get help with their conditions, and we beat pharma. So that's a win-win-win, right?
Yeah.
So after that, we go into the stabilization phase of like, what are we doing with our patients when they're done with care? Are we getting them into some type of continuity, recurring revenue model? And I'll go over that here in a minute. So I want to go through, before I get there, I want to go through the maximize phase. So I call this the BPA revenue pyramid. This is the foundational principle that we teach to our customers at BPA, Blueprint to Practice Automation. So when we look at, we got to build the foundation in our practice. So what's the foundation? It's chiropractic. So never stop a avenue of new patients coming in your office because you add other services. Just because you add neuropathy or knee pain or weight loss doesn't, and they're worth more, doesn't mean that you stop chiropractic. It's the lowest cost per lead you're ever going to get in your practice, $10 per lead sometimes. And it gives you opportunity to upsell them into other services like metabolic and pain niches. So again, chiropractic is the lowest cost per lead. Your pain niches are going to be your always highest cost per lead. It's a high risk if you start implementing pain niches without maximizing the lifetime value of your chiropractic patient. Adding services onto chiropractic, adding weight loss, adding gut health, adding knee pain, adding decompression. Then you start marketing the pain niches, and then it's not high risk because you doubled your practice with other services added onto chiropractic. So when we look at this, I'm going to go through this pyramid and what it looks like. So the first thing we should be doing is very fundamentals, is doing reactivation campaigns with chiropractic. Patients that stop coming, and a lot of times when patients stop coming, it's because timing, it's inconvenience, maybe it's a season of their life, they just stop care. And you have to remind them, hey, let's get you back under care. This is why you originally signed this. We reversed your curve back. Your headaches are gone. Let's get you back under care. And then we start upselling chiropractic into metabolic. This is how we're going to do our first lifetime value increase in our chiropractic patient. We can do reactivation campaigns and activation campaigns with our chiropractic patients to add metabolic to it as well. This is something we teach and how to do it. And then we're upselling chiropractic into pain niches. So we add decompression, we add knee pain, maybe they add plantar fasciitis, maybe they have a shoulder issue. Now we've taken our chiropractic care plan, and sometimes they need metabolic and knee pain. They have chiropractic, they have subluxation. Let's say it's worth $1,800. They have metabolic issue. They're 20, 30 pounds overweight. That's worth another $2,000. Now you're at 3,800. And they have knee pain because they're overweight, because every pound you're overweight is 4 pounds of the weight bearing joint. That's another $4,000. Now you're at a $7,000 to $8,000 care plan because they need help with 3 things. Their life is deteriorating, their health is deteriorating because they have 3 major conditions going on. They're taking medications and they're in position to go get surgery. This is the reason why we upsell into other services to help patients and build our business. And at this point, we do these 2 first strategies and we doubled, tripled our practice. And then we start marketing pain niches, neuropathy, knee pain, decompression. And we start downselling the pain niches. They need metabolic care. They need chiropractic care as well. So we follow this triangle, BPA revenue triangle, and we look up 3, 4 months down the road and we 4, 5x our practice because we're just following just general business principles and following the data. The data says the other 87% need our help. The data says that 85% of people, or 85% increase in medications and painkillers. Follow the data and give the service, and everyone wins in this in the end. I know Dr. Fitzsimmons did a really good job in his practice. I'd love your feedback on that.
Yeah, I think what you just explained is like you said, the very basic fundamentals of health. And don't think of it anything else. It's at the very, very core, your nervous system controls and coordinates your whole body. Let's get that functioning at its full potential. All right, we got that running properly. What's one of the next biggest things? Gut health, inflammation. We know that's one of the biggest problems in society today. If they don't have proper communication with their gut, if they have inflammation throughout their whole body, their body's not going to communicate, it's not going to heal. All their other issues that they're trying to resolve are just never going to get the full measure of success unless their nervous system is functioning properly and the inflammation is decreased in their body. all right, now you have a fully functioning nervous system. Now you have decreased inflammation throughout your body. What is the next levels of health that you want to get on? What other areas do you have that you need to work into, as you can talk about pain, but just anything. That's just like anything in life, right? That hey, here's the first step, here's the next step, here's the next step, and you're just continually optimizing the person's health. And so we do this in all other areas of our life. We start with the basic fundamentals, right? And then you go to the next step and you just keep getting more and more advanced until you're trying to get to that 100% level of health. And so that's exactly, the same thing. And as you said, it's exactly, what I was able to do for my clinic. We started chiropractic, only exams, adjustments, and chiropractic. That's all we did. Phenomenal results, helped tons and tons of people. Then we added the metabolic program into our office, helped tons of people that were already under care get to a next level of health. Also attracted a lot of more people, that also wanted gut health as their primary. Then we went to the next level, added in the neuropathy protocol, the knee protocol, the decompression protocol. And again, people that were already under care now went to the next level. They got rid of their neuropathy, they got rid of their knee, they got rid of their disc issues in their back, their neck, their knee. And then exactly like you said, then we started marketing those other areas specifically, which is going to create more chiropractic patients, because every single person that comes into my office for neuropathy, for knee pain, for decompression, chiropractic is still the most fundamental part of all of those people's plan. And so it is just opening up that opportunity vehicle, because as much as we know that chiropractic can impact every part of your life, most people don't have the education, and we don't have the funding right now in our profession. Hopefully, eventually we can, to have campaigns for people to understand, know more the power of chiropractic that we all know that it has. But at its core, we do need to speak their language. How does the patient communicate? They talk about in pain and symptoms. And so again, we need to welcome them where they're at, educate them on what they can have, and get them into our system and open their eyes, open their health, change their lives, and then get them to be true believers. And exactly how you'd explained it, Dr. Gumm, is just a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, and that's just one of the
value.
And this strategy, being able to scale your practice, we found that this is where Lucro comes into play, because we're creating so much opportunity for our customers. They need better bookkeeping. They need to be able to make better financial decisions. If they went from making $300,000 a year to making $1.8 million a year, they need help with making strategic financial decisions. And that's where Lucro comes in play. And probably one of the best business partners that we partnered with, because our doctors need it. Running a basic chiropractic practice, you need that foundation before you start scaling. But if you start scaling without the infrastructure like a Lucro, that's why a lot of our customers are customers of Lucro, is because they're killing it, and they want help and say, hey, I want to make sure I'm making good financial decisions for my future. So we appreciate Lucro. But when we look at what we don't want to do is kind of tip that pyramid upside down and just marketing pain niches, and just only maybe upselling metabolic and chiropractic. It's an unstable foundation. We've eroded the new patients for chiropractic come in the office to give us more opportunity to complete that pyramid triangle. So a few have made the mistakes of coming into BPA and, oh my gosh, neuropathy is worth $7,000 to $10,000. I'm not going to market chiropractic anymore. Wrong. You probably shouldn't do that, because if you have a bad month, you want to still have chiropractic upsell into metabolic, upsell into pain niches. You're literally decreasing your revenue by 30% by taking out chiropractic and the opportunities. So when I was talking about the recurring revenue, you should have a model for recurring revenue. You should be putting all your chiropractic patients into some type of membership, monthly membership that they're paying you, coming in two to four times a week with some nutrition support. Same thing with neuropathy. Maybe you add a modality, have a different level with a laser, whatever modality you may be using in your office. Knee pain, maybe it's a modality. Maybe it's decompression, and maybe they're getting chiropractic plus decompression. You should have a recurring membership that you're putting your patients in. I know there's a few states out there that have some legal issues with membership, so check your state laws, but most of them don't. I want to say 280 people paying me $169 a month at one point in my practice. That paid for my overhead, that paid for my marketing, it paid for a lot of things in my business that I knew that was recurring, coming in every single month. And that was almost like my pulse of my overhead, covering my overhead. So I loved it. So that's something to really think about. implementing if you're not doing that in your business. So some people are saying, okay, Dr. Gumm, you went over all this information. What is the best way to implement these niches, and through like, what's the order of things I should concentrate on? Well, going back to that pyramid, let's kind of clear that pyramid up a little bit. You should be doing phase one, chiropractic and metabolic, upselling from chiropractic into metabolic, doing activation campaigns, reactivation campaigns into chiropractic, metabolic activation campaigns, and upsell chiropractic and pain niches. That's phase one. You could double your practice with phase one. Phase two, you start picking the niches of what niche do I want to implement first? Maybe it's decompression. Maybe it's neuropathy. Maybe it's knee pain. As we implement that first pain niche, we want to do pain niche reactivations, making sure they're reactivating those leads and getting people back into your funnel that didn't commit to coming in. We want to downsell into chiropractic and metabolic. Just phase one in picking one niche, a lot of our customers will triple their practice. If they're doing two niches, they're quadrupling their practice. And then phase three, I call it, that's almost an ancillary phase. If you master phase one and two, you can literally have a multi-million-dollar practice. Phase three is like, okay, I want more metabolic patients. You could use body contouring as the lead shiny object. Meeting people where they want. They want to lose 2 to 4 inches in 20 and 30 minutes. But every patient that comes in for body contouring needs weight loss, needs a gut health program or a keto program if they're diabetic, or maybe they have fibromyalgia. They need gut health as well, or maybe autoimmune or thyroid. We have all the protocols that fits all the metabolic needs for that body contouring patient. They fill out a one-page survey, it gives you a score, tells you exactly what protocol they qualify for, and then it's built inside that body contouring case fee. Again, looking at that pyramid, that's coming in on the metabolic side, so you can actually lateral sell into chiropractic, upsell into pain niche, and make that case fee worth, instead of 2,000, make it worth 4 and 6 and 8. Again, patients are patients. They all have ailments according to the statistics we went over. And then really the last thing is not a phase. It's more ancillary services, adding shoulder and plantar fasciitis. And we have an ED niche and regenerative medicine on top of care plans when needed in your practice. You could literally do without all those. You could literally concentrate on phase one and two and do huge things in the profession and for your practice and your community.
And I would even call it, phases of value implementation. What do people already want that you can offer, and make it easy? They already are coming to your office. How can you give them better, faster results, higher quality care, with someone that they already know, like, and trust? I mean, it just makes it so much easier, like I said, not only for you, but for them as well. And don't overcomplicate these. I could share my testimony later, but, these are not difficult things to add on. Most of your processes do not need to change. You're going to add a few questions on the initial visit, some examinations based on, exactly what you're going to be more focused in on. And then on this, on the reported findings, explaining obviously the results of those additional tests, and what's involved with those secondary protocols. But that's how we were able to, 2.5x our clinic, without adding any other additional square footage. We didn't add any other things into the office, but we were able to provide tons and tons of more value to the people that were already coming to enter our clinic.
Yeah, I agree. And so the next thing is the BPA revenue reporting. So what we did is we did a 25-page report on a clinic that went through these initiatives and processes. And the 5 fundamentals that we focused on in the clinical operating system was phones, day 1, day 2, upsells, downsells, and memberships. In the business operating system, we focused on, are we doing our daily stand-up before the shift? Are we doing a weekly level up meeting, reporting KPIs? Are we reporting KPIs properly? Are we handling obstacles and getting through obstacles properly within a business? I don't know how many practices I've met that aren't part of BPA that say, I have this problem. I talk to them a year later and they still have the same problem. How did we not solve that obstacle? We should be solving 4 to 5 obstacles a week. We have a really good methodology to be able to get through obstacles that we make sure that our members are using. And how's your mission, vision, values, and principles in your practice? Foundational principle of your business. And then we look at your marketing operating systems and make sure that we understand the fundamentals of marketing, the foundational principles, and then activate, optimize, expand, and scale. We have very specific things we want to make sure that you're not skipping. Some people want to go, let me do TV and radio. Well, your phones suck. You should be doing TV and radio. So we use these 3 operating systems together to make sure that you're scaling properly. And whatever's the weakest link, we practice and train and get you on coaching calls and work with you to make sure we fix it, to make sure we're uplifting that part of your business so you're humming and doing a great job and making an impact. So when we look at a summary, we took a practice. This is a basic testimonial or case study. We took a practice that was doing 30 chiropractic patients a month. It's closing 20 of them at $1,800 a month or $1,800 a case fee, a $432,000 practice, just basic chiropractic. I think they had one staff, good revenue, right? We took that and we taught them phase one of the BPA revenue pyramid. So adding metabolic, doing reactivation campaigns, activation campaigns with metabolic, upselling into the pain niches, and we over doubled their practice, $1.092 million annually. This is an annual basis. So around $600,000 in increased revenue by just doing those first two phases. And then we looked at, okay, let's take that new revenue that they gained that per month, around $55,000 per month. Let's take 10% of that new revenue and let's pour it into pain niche marketing. So I think they did neuropathy. We took that $5,500 into ad spend. I think they had around 55 leads per month. It's about $100 per lead. It's a little high, but still a lot of leads. They closed around 50 to 55%, which produced $840,000 in new revenue from the pain niche they were marketing. And then we taught them to downsell into chiropractic and metabolic, obviously. This is one of their weaker points. They could have done a better job, but it was $129,384 in downsells from the pain niche at the top of that pyramid. Total BPA revenue pyramid strategy annual revenue is $2 million. So if we look at that, we take the hard cost out. So you got equipment and nutrition for those niche ancillary services. A hard cost of $294,348. Net profit of $1.7 million added in an annual basis to this practice by just following the simple principles of the BPA revenue pyramid. And this isn't our best case study. This is just an average case study. That's why I like using it. I like giving people realistic numbers. So you can, kind of, oh, well, I could probably do better than that, or maybe I could do a little less than that. Even if it was just $1 million, it's a huge win, right? So I have that in a 25-page report that you're going to be able to download on Lucro's site. You'll be able to download that. It'll give you more details of what that case study did, the principles of what I went through in the presentation, so you can read it if you're a reader and want to read through it. And I also put a chiropractic consumer report. It's a 22-page chiropractic consumer report. A lot of the data is from the third-party research company that we hired to do research on the chiropractic market. A lot of great information around the chiropractic market and where it's at and where it's going and where it's not going, like I talked about. So definitely make sure to go download that. If you're a non-BPA customer, there'll be a tab in those documents where if you want to schedule a 15-minute call and just ask questions to our team, they'll be able to answer your questions and get some more information from you to see if it's a good fit to move forward and learn more about us. So that's all
Awesome.
I got, Dr. Fitzsimmons, and let's take some questions.
Hey, that was fantastic. Just in my notes here, I took a lot of notes, but just at the beginning, I really appreciated just the reminder, hey, we have the greatest healthcare product in the world, but we're not making the impact that we know we should be making. All of these other industries have grown, hockey sticked over the years, and we haven't. What's the difference? What are they doing that we're not doing? How are we not innovating and advancing our profession, the impact that we can have the way we should be? And so, hey, what is the opportunity, to do that? How can we make a bigger impact and help people that are already in our clinic, that already want more of what we have? People are waking up around the country, around the world. They're understanding, that drugs and surgeries and masking up their symptoms and, living a, life in pain with just to be prescribed more medications and have an early death is not the route that most people want to have, right? And so we want to be at the forefront of that shift into make America healthy again, make the world healthy again. I know we have some people on this call from New Zealand, from Australia, from Canada. We have people on this call from all over the world. And then after you get to that point, your final piece was okay, how do you keep evaluating what's working, what's not working? What is that number one thing that people should focus on to next implement or improve that you already have? And that's, really my thing that I always tell every single doctor. If you could put one thing on a sticky note, put this one thing and say, hey, what is the number one thing that I need to focus on that's going to have the greatest impact on my business? What is that one thing that I need to focus on? Because there's a million things you could do, but what is that top thing that's going to have the greatest impact, on advancing your clinic, advancing the health of your clients, advancing our profession? That's what you need to always have that consistent focus on. So you're going to be able to download, if you're watching the recording, all of the resources, the PowerPoints, all of these different downloadables. Like I said, Dr. Gumm spent over $100,000 to better understand what is the opportunity that we have in our industry. Where are we missing the mark, and what can we do better as a profession? And that's, like I said, I think one of the biggest things that we're missing in our profession is more money into research of what's working, how do we keep advancing, how do we keep taking it to the next level. So I appreciate, your investment, in the profession, the impact BPA has had, not only in my clinic, my life, but, many other, thousands of doctors around the country. So thank you very much.
Again, thank you for having me. And we definitely enjoy you being part of our group. And if you guys haven't signed up for Lucro, make sure you do. It's one of the most fundamental services. If you're already doing bookkeeping and spending money on bookkeeping, get rid of your bookkeeper and hire Lucro. They make very, very smart financial decisions for your business. I've had numerous clients of ours come to us and like, man, this is really helping me understand the data in my business and what decisions I really need to make and when I need to make them. Instead of playing the guessing game. I know I've had just generalized bookkeepers and they're not helping you. They're just punching numbers in. They're not really in there telling you what to do and how to do it. And you're learning from the best. Dr. Fitzsimmons is probably one of the most successful practices within the profession, from strategy, from numbers, from niches, and so forth. So I'm glad to be able to work with you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate it. What I always tell people is knowing your numbers is 1% of the value. Knowing what to do with them is 99% of the value. And so, $450 a month for our services were less than the cost of a crappy bookkeeper who's only valuable one day a year that you file taxes. You want to get value 364 days a year from your data so that you know the correct actions to take to grow and move your business forward. So thanks again, Dr. Gumm, for joining today.